Hello, beautiful stars. Welcome to today's universal message on connections, relations, yes, things of those nature. And just a brief reminder, it could be connections and relationship in regards to oneself, platonic, could be romantic, it could be any of those above. Is what we leave open for spirit. All right, so all your cards are pre-shuffled. I have not seen any of them, but after the reading, we will move on to the smoke scrying. So that is something you like and enjoy. Stick around after the reading for that. But without further ado, let's get straight into your oracles. Okay, so first we have here this oracle. And there's a message in the back, but let's get the energy of this card first. A very solo kind of feeling is what I'm getting. It's almost like you're going amongst the crowd, or you're going through, places with people, perhaps, yeah, or you're seeing people and connections around you, but you're just kind of moving steadily. You have a very single point focus on something, and it's something either moving away from a situation or just really hone on a certain goal or vision or something. You're hone on to something. So let's see what the message says. The flight of the gray heron. Here or elsewhere, your destiny awaits you. What are you going to do with what you've been offered? What direction will your flight take? What paths will you take to accomplish it? No one knows that but you. Okay. Yes, I see a very direct energy here. And as I was shuffling, Spirit was very adamant that I choose this card. And let's see if we can find out why with the other cards here. So let's look at this one. We have Mirror. How you wish to be seen by others. Loss of identity, insults, and disagreements. So the first phrase is kind of the I guess you can call it positive aspect, or just kind of the nature of the energy. And the second is like the shadow aspect. Okay. And then we have Fan with a desire for change and new experiences. And the other part is difficulty communicating with others. Okay. So let's look into the energy of these. I see part of yourself wanting to be on this in the spotlight, but at the same time kind of crouching away in the corner. It's like you want to be seen, but part of it is developing the self-confidence to be acknowledged and seen, right? It's a discrepancy in terms of what we want and where we actually are. So where you are is a bit reticent, a bit shy. You are kind of peeking out there in the world, but at the same time, there's an urge to kind of make your stance. To be a bit bolder, to be a bit more courageous, to be a bit more loving and assured of yourself. That will give you the confidence boost that you need to kind of get out there. This is talking about, I'm also getting through here, tapping into kind of your Leo energy or your solar plexus energy or your sun energy. What drives and what fuels you. So far, and yes, so we're talking about communication here, is what's coming through. Yes, a difficulty in communication, because in the 18th century, fans were used as a means, well, not as a means, as a tool for conveying body language and communications. It's how it was used in the social circles. Certain movements, certain things you do with a fan, yeah, eye movements, mouth movements, hand movement, gestures indicate your desire or your disinterest towards some things. So I'm getting, yeah, very strong vibes towards doing something that, or a very strong goal-oriented vibes here. And then exposure to a greater platform too. All right, let's see what our last oracle here is. Be willing to express love. Express love to receive love. Okay. Okay. I see you holding a piece of yourself and looking deeply into it. It's almost like you just been birthed from the sea here. And it's like this is already the big version you see of yourself. But there's that interesting dichotomy we talked about earlier of seeing yourself a certain way and feeling a certain way. So that's coming in quite strongly. So multiple, yeah, messages coming through here. All right, let me organize them a little bit. Let's first talk about the goal-oriented aspect. Yes. So passing through these crowds of people, being very focused on a certain thing, a certain project. It's a relationship reading, but I feel like this is a relationship in regards to yourself, and then B, a relationship to just those in around you. What I mean by that is those you want to come in contact with, whether it's to spread your goal through other people, other connections, to an audience. It's this kind of relationship that we're talking about. And eventually down the line, yes, that can stem into romantic relationship, but I don't get too strong of a vibe just from the oracles, maybe more so in the tarot. But this has a lot to do with self-communication, self-love, self-confidence, conveying that, and the ability to do that and connect with that, to feel really fully embrace and be in the emotions and the courage and the confidence of yourself will allow you to communicate better with other people and attract other people to you, because it's this energy dynamic that if you are able to be more sociable, be more open, be more communicative and amicable with others around you, then that energy is reflected back and it will be easier to communicate. And whether you have a goal or a desire or something in mind, then that can flow more easier and more smoothly once you are able to convey that and connect with the people around you. Okay, so let's look at your... Oh, I kind of want to pick your tarot up next, and then we'll do Lenormand after. Okay, so we have the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. Certainly a new project starting, wanting to expose it to the world. It's something that's near and dear to your heart. Okay, and then we have Three of Swords. Okay, so being entangled in something. We have the Hermit. Okay, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, I see. All right, so it's like the eyes are looking up with hope here. These are the signs with the eyes that are open. These are looking down, but their eyes are closed, even here too. And so, yes, this is definitely in regards to something you hold near and dear to your heart. Whether it be a project, whether it be a desire, whether it be a wanting of a connection with somebody or with other people, I feel like you are very much keeping to yourself, kind of like almost reclusive. Yeah, but not in a negative sense, more in like an artistry kind of sense. Like when an artist is so enmeshed in their own projects, in their own creation, they kind of not blocked out the world consciously, but unconsciously, right? They keep to themselves, they keep to their work, they are very much in their own time and space, and so they don't spend a lot of time with other people. What is this entanglement here, Spirit? Let's see. This energy is... Okay, we have to re-examine this. This is being... I'm not getting much from this, and it's being blocked for some reason. So maybe we'll find out with Lenormand. But yes, let's... Yeah, it's... So let's go back to the overall energy. Okay, we know you're striving towards something, but you're keeping rest yourself. It's almost like you're in this kind of fantastical world that is in your own mind, in your own space, in your own framework, in your own sense of thinking. And you have these big projections of what you want, but at the same time, it's not being realized because you're keeping so much to yourself. We see so much of that dichotomy between what you view and what you see, what you envision, versus what you're actually embodying. Yes. Okay. So let's grab your Lenormand next. Okay, we have the Stork. And then we have the Anchor. Very interesting anchor depiction there. And then we have the birds. Okay. So definitely being studious or studying or honing your craft. Wanting to place kind of like a foundation, a stable foundation on it, and then wanting it to be expressed, conveyed, exposed, brought out in the world, to be known, to be acknowledged. So yes, the dynamic here is interesting because whatever you desire, have in mind, goals, project, artistic creation, I don't get a lot of strong vibes for romance and romantic relationships. So we're talking primarily about relationship with other people here, perhaps an audience with the general population, but it's wanting to get something out there, wanting to get a project, a goal, or desire, something near and deep to your heart to be brought out in the light, to be exposed, to to get exposure is what I mean, for it to be well known. But yeah, the main thing that comes up is that hermit, reclusive nature of your energy that is kind of keeping whatever you want to get out there in the world, keeping it limited where it is. Okay, so we need some clarification. Let's see here. Let's grab this deck. Is it this deck, Spirit? Okay. They don't want me to grab this deck. We need another deck. Alright, so let me pause the video just a little bit, stars, and then let me grab another deck to clarify it. Alright, lovely stars, we are using the Osho Zen Tarot. It's what your spirit guides wanted to choose to clarify for you. So first, let's clarify this Three of Swords, because it's quite hidden or blocked so well that we're not getting clues on it. We know that it's tied and bound up for whatever reason, but can we please understand, if we may, Spirit, why or what is it about this energy that is stuck for those tuning in? And then next we'll look at the question of what you can do to kind of resolve this. Yes. Okay. Alright, so let's first look at that Three of Hearts. Can we get... actually, this one, and this one. Okay. So what is it in regards to this Three of Hearts, Spirit? I mean Three of Swords. That is plaguing those tuning in for this message. The Lovers. Okay. I see. We have friendliness with the Two of Cups. I see. And then we have integration. Also see the two aspects here. Okay. And then we have going with the flow. Okay. So we start to see what this is in regards to. For some of you, it is old patterns with observing how relationships are and how they are dysfunctional, and that has kind of thwarted your way of thinking or the way you see or the way your approach is to love. And for some others of you, so I had to get that message out. For a good other portion of you, it's in regards to being too convoluted in your energy, in your connection with those that you have spent in the past. You may not be together with them now, but their energy is still residing in your system. There needs to be what we call a cord cutting. So when you spend so much time with somebody, either physically, mentally, emotionally, all the above, right? And energetically as well, the energy starts to mingle. And this is how I say the analogy is like. It's like when you first form a bond with somebody, when you first just start talking to somebody, it's like a thin thread forms, It's like a thin energetic thread forms. And over time, you talk to them more, you become more acquainted, you become closer, more intimate, um, physically, emotionally, mentally. The energetic cord starts to become bigger and bigger. It's like another thread forms and another thread. Eventually, it forms into this thick rope. And over time, the more energy you invest in this bond, in this relation with these people, or an ex, or somebody you spend a lot of time with, you get this huge, over time, it becomes a cable. And this is what I see a lot of times in regards to relationship, toxic relationships as well. People just stay in it, and they often say like, "Oh, we've been together for so long. I know he's bad for me. I know she's not good for me, but we've been together this long. It's so hard to just cut it off." And that's exactly the main issue, right? That's the nature of the energetic entanglement. Is a good word for it. It's like the rope is so thick now. When it was first formed, you can easily cut it with a pair of scissors because it's just one simple thread. But now it's just a thick cable. You can't cut that through with your scissors. You need a stronger tool, like something that would just slice and break the rope apart. Or you have to unravel each rope, each cord, until it all becomes untangled. And that's what's most difficult and most challenging. And for some of you, with regards to that, it is advised to do some form of release, cord cutting. Yeah. So that can be certain ways. If you're not with the person anymore, or you're not connected to these people anymore, or this person, or an ex, or whatever, one way to do that is every time you think of them and there is strong emotion associated, whether it's anger or pain or hurt or whatever, one way to do that is to write things out, right? This is what they do in psychology, or suggest in psychology, where you write things out on a piece of paper or in an email or something. It's not like you're going to send it, or this person will ever see it, or these people will ever see it, but it's a way of getting your emotions out there and expressing it. And if it's written on paper, you can burn it in a candle or fire or something, making sure you have the safety fire precautions ahead, of course. Or yes, on an email, imagine sending in that email, or things of those are a couple ways you can do cord cutting. Another way is just doing a bath, where you take a nice bath and you think about all the emotions that are associated with the person or persons that are connected, that you want to release and let go, whether it's the hurt, the anger, the pain, whatever. And then just do a nice cleansing bath, add some essential oils, add some Epsom salts, or some mineral salts, and then release that through the bath. Especially on a full moon would be beneficial, and we have one coming up this Tuesday, so quite appropriate. The other part is there's a need to, so that's a couple message there, 2 messages already for those tuning in, as this is a universal message. For the other part of you is the energy we talked about earlier. There needs to be an integration of, it's like you see yourself in the split dichotomy, and I'm not quite sure why, but I think it's perhaps part of the pattern that you observe growing up that has made you split in this way. We see that strongly expressed here with 2 forms of yourself, or 2 ways of thinking, or divergence between mind and heart. So there needs to be an integration of that aspect in order for you to feel more in tune to better go with the flow. Otherwise, you just kind of be in the murky waters going back and forth all the time, thinking, do I put my project out there? Do I put myself out there to expose to the world? Or do I just keep to myself and just keep on working my project? It is this keep on this wavering energy that goes back and forth in murky waters. And once you have integrated the aspect, then you're able to be flowing easier. Yes. And then moving on with relationships, with projects, with desires, anything like that will be a lot smoother. Okay, so we kind of clarified up that Three of Swords energy. Let's get... they want me to put these back in the deck, so let's do that. And let's get a final message for you, stars, those that are tuning in. Can we get a final word of advice? We know that integration is one of your advice. Can we get a final word of advice for those tuning into this message, please, Spirit? Perhaps in regards to their project, what they want to bring out, or any other ways that can help them integrate or can move on. Yeah. Any of those mentions, man. All right, can we get a final word of advice for those tuning in, please? Okay. Can we get a final word of advice for those tuning in? Okay, so we have control, stress, we are the world, and understanding. Okay, and I'll go through the regular traditional tarot system. So this is the King of Swords, the Seven of Fire or Wands, the Ten of Earth or Pentacles, and then the Page of Cups. Okay. So yes, very clear advice here. If you want this project, this desire to manifest, to reach the world, to be acknowledged, to be recognized, to be out there on the platform, to be known, to be famous perhaps, there's a need to release the control and the stress that is plaguing your mind. It's to relinquish such strong and adamant and perhaps vehement kind of grip on it. Yes. Okay. Understanding that there's divine timing that plays into everything. Waiting is part of the game, part of the process. Timing is part of the game and the process. Sometimes when we see something and we want it so badly to reach a certain stage, just say you planted a seed, right? Or you put a seed out there and you're like, oh my God, I want it to grow now. Like I want the tree, I want the fruits now. And it simply just does not work that way. The seed has to go through its stages of growth, its stages of maturation, and eventually you will see fruit from it. But that is in accordance with divine timing, right? Which is not what most of us want to hear. And I feel like most of you are clicking off of this video right now, and that's perfectly fine. No harm, no foul. Yes, it's like, that's not what I want to hear, and that's okay. Sometimes, you know, the results that, or the message that the Spirit gives us is we're not quite ready to hear it yet, or it doesn't give us the satisfactory answer that we want. And if that's the case, no harm, no foul. Another day, another time is fine, but divine timing is at play here. So the impatience, the control, only brings further stress. For those of you who are still here, yes, the control aspect of it will only bring further stress. We can't make that seed grow into a tree any faster than it will. It will only come with divine timing. So continue working on your project. At the same time, work on yourself, integrating aspects of yourself, perhaps aspects that are at odds with each other. And once you do, then that will speed up the timing. It's like giving fertilizer to the seed, giving it the right condition. And suddenly you thought like, oh, the seed was going to take 2 years to grow into a tree, and now it's growing a lot quicker. Maybe it'll be a tree by 6 months or 3 months even, depending on what we give it and how we integrate all the soil, the water, the sunlight, all the components that gives it the most beneficial and profitable time it takes for it to grow. And understanding part of it is divine timing. So whether you're seeking a relationship, whether you're seeking to have exposure of your project or creation, or yourself perhaps, if you're a performer or something like that, or an artist of different sorts, wanting your art in a gallery or something, there is divine timing at place. But the most important part you can do is focus on working on it still, and focus on working on yourself. All right, lovely stars, that was the message in regards with the card reading. Let me clear all this up and we will do the smoke scrying. Okay. All right, lovely stars. So we have performed our incantation and lit our incense here. And let's see through the smoke form here what Spirit gives us. So Spirit, can we please know what forms you have for us in regards to those tuning into this message? Okay, clearly already see a saxophone, a trombone. Okay, and the message in regards to that is, I hear a crescendo. It starts as something small, but it gets bigger and louder into a symphony. So yes, it's also reminding me, Spirit's also telling me, it's kind of like when you play a song. You start out with the intro generally, and then it starts to build, right? And this is with anything too. I'm getting a lot of music references, so perhaps some of you are musicians, but I'm also getting theater, play, actress, because I'm getting also an opera. So a scene is happening, and then, you know, the main lead singer delivers the crescendo opera that is like the pivotal point of the play. The same thing for the music with the saxophone and the trombone. It might start as those to intro into the music piece, and then together other instruments join in, and then it becomes, and the whole symphony crescendos to a climax point. So the energy that we're getting here is in regards to that crescendoing, that building up. So it's that seed that grows into the peak of what it is, into the tree, at which point it gives fruit. So yeah, that's the energy we're getting. Any other forms we have, Spirit? No. But they are reminding me that for those tuning in here, doing it with joy, remembering about what we talked earlier with the control and the release thereof, will give you less stress and less headaches. So approaching it with more perhaps joy, a playful aspect, will be a lot more beneficial, because it will just go smoother. You'll be in the flow. It will be better overall. All right, let's look into your chakra love inspiration cards here and see what we have as your final messages from Spirit in regards to this. So it's interesting how this... Okay, well, that one's... Do we get another one, Spirit? No, I think we're good with that. It's interesting how this reading is on universal relationships, but it's more so in terms of connections, and it's coming out in regards to your connection with a greater audience. Yes. All right, so we have this crystal here, and is the solar plexus chakra with citrine. Of course, citrine. Abundance. The world is abundant when you choose to see it that way. So yes, we talk about perspective here, but we also talk about your power, that dichotomy dynamic that we mentioned earlier. So as it's a matter of integration and tuning into yourself, fine-tuning yourself, tapping into that solar plexus chakra. It's what will help integrate and unite parts of you that are divergent, that are at odds with each other, that are at perhaps crossroads with each other. But yes, unifying that aspect will give you the abundance that you want and so desire. And when we talk about abundance, it's in all form: financially, connections, health, wealth, and joy. All right, lovely. All right, beautiful stars. That was all we have for you today in regards to your messages, your scrying, and your final word of advice here. So I will leave that here. If you found the message insightful, or you like it, or was helpful, please consider hitting that like button and subscribe, or if you haven't already, for future messages. I wish you a magical, wonderful day, and the best of the best. Shine bright, take care, have a magical day, and I will see you later. All right, bye, lovely stars.